right.
When you went into your first bye week, you were coming off a one-sided win.
Mm-hmm.
This bye week, you were coming off a one-sided
Yep.
defeat. Did you do anything different? Do you do anything different in that case with the bye week, the way you approach it?
No, very similar approach. First thing we want to do is study ourselves. It's a 4-game set for us to check to see tendency-wise if there's anything we're giving away, and very similar approach. We had to reset. Took the first part of the bye week to really evaluate ourselves and study what we were doing, and then turn the page and start getting ready for Pitt. So very similar format to how we handled the first bye week.
I guess quarterback-wise, what did you work on with Calandria during the bye week, and are you guys sticking with him at
Yeah, it was a tough day at the office for everybody, the last outing, and in fairness to Calandria, when you're taking a 3-step drop and you're at the top of your drop and your third step's in the ground and guys are at your on your back or at your feet. It doesn't matter who you got, at quarterback. So biggest thing is just getting back to the fundamentals, controlling what we can control. Obviously, there were a couple of reads that he probably would want back. But other than that, to be honest with you, I was proud of how he competed. Considering the amount he was getting hit in that game, and he just kept battling. He didn't lose his composure. Stood in there and threw some good balls, but then also too, wasn't able to fully get through his progression. So it's hard to evaluate. So, right now AC's our guy. Do recognize that Tony has come in and provided a spark, and said it at the beginning of the season, we're going to need both of those guys. Throughout the course of the season to figure out how to go win games. But just been proud of how those guys have battled amidst the adversity, and really just focusing on AC's fundamentals and the things that he can control to get better. But what happened in the last game, I think it's tough on a quarterback, when you're getting hit that much to truly evaluate him.
As far as health of the team, this is opportunity last bye week to get healthy. What's the latest on some of those injuries?
Yeah, so it's we needed it. We needed a bye week. Obviously, Brian is back healthy, back practicing, and that was kind of a scary deal, because it started as thought it was a viral infection, and then next thing we know it's I saw a picture of his lungs. He's got a lot of fluid on his lungs, and it kind of happened fast, and it's one of those things. I guess it's going around a lot with I guess it's more common now. But it happens fast, so good to have Brian back. Furnace was back in practice, so excited about having him back. Ugana is back in practice with the dislocated toe. Obviously, Jimmy had to have surgery on his ankle, so Jimmy's out. I think more time has helped Chris Tyree. I think he's back full speed, ready to go. Just looking through the list. Who else was out? James Jackson is still battling with the foot. We're getting closer. He'll be a game time decision. But the time off has been good for him. Clary's back, been competing in practice. The swelling has stayed down on the knee, so excited about the possibility of having him back. Trying to think, is there anybody else that was out that last game? Most of the big issues were on the OL, but we anticipate, with the exception of Jimmy, having all those guys back ready to go. And Boley's knee is good. He's been practicing during both the weeks off. So yeah.
Trell Harris.
Oh, Trell, yeah. Trell was he's probably about 2-3 weeks away still. It's a 4-week deal on his surgery, and he had surgery about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm.
Is that consideration for redshirting?
Yeah, we'll be smart. We'll be smart. He's got one game left, which will be his 4th game this season, and we'll see kind of where we are. We'll definitely want to do right by the young man and make sure that we don't burn a year if we don't feel like it's going to be beneficial to him or the team.
How have you seen teams, I guess, defend Calandria differently as the seasons progress, as they get more film on him and see what he likes to do? He was talking a lot about, teams trying to keep him in the pocket, a lot more man-to-man coverage. What have you seen as you go through the film?
Yeah, I don't know if it's as specific to just AC. It's just kind of and it's always been like this. The later you get into the season, the more competitive it gets, the more you're going to see man coverage. And in my experience, especially playing in the postseason, man, you got to get ready for man coverage. And each team is going to have that variation of coverage in their package. But I do think teams want to keep him in the pocket, make him throw from the pocket, because once he pulls the ball down to run, he's dangerous, both run and pass outside of the pocket. I think it's also still kind of challenging to tell because we've had some issues, up front here lately with being able to consistently protect the quarterback. But I think with Trail being down in particular, teams are sitting on us a little bit more. We got to figure out a way to get the ball down the field, put the ball up in the air, and see can we have somebody. Then with Chris being in and out of the lineup, we just haven't had that true vertical speed threat that we have with those two guys. But having Chris back hopefully will help. Now the structure we're getting ready to play. And I love Coach Narduzzi. He's one of my favorites of guys that I've been around in this profession. First, he does it the right way. Man, you can tell that he cares a lot about his players. But man, he's gonna do what he does. Competed against him back 2016, 2018, and it's the same defensive structure. Man, they're gonna put 7 in the box. They're going to have them safeties sitting, right at about 10 yards, ready to support the run, and then they're going to play you man coverage. So this group we're getting ready to play, I don't think that they'll change up to defend, AC or anybody else on our offense. They're going to do what they do, and they've been really, really good at it. That's why they're top in the country in stopping the run, and they force you to make contested plays down the field. So this one's going to be a great test for AC and all of our guys to be able to put together consistent drives versus the defensive structure that we're getting ready to play.
He said without Trell Harris, y'all have kind of changed things up just to get more of a deep threat in there. What are some ways that you can do that? He says it's executing in practice. It just hasn't translated.
Yeah, one, we got to protect so that when our shots are open down the field, we can deliver the ball. It starts right there, and then you just have to create some move the pocket stuff, double move stuff, those type of things, just to see can you spring a guy down the field. But I think for us, more so than anything, is being able to protect long enough so that we can give AC a chance, because if you're throwing quick game all the time, it's hard to get the ball down the field. I mean, you gotta drop back. You gotta have some of your 5-step, 7-step timing stuff, short move the pockets to be able to allow the routes to develop down the field.
Injuries are part of the game, but knowing how committed Clary is to football and to the team, has it been tough as a coach to see him have to deal with another setback? And also, what has been the impact of his absence on the defense? Because he and Sanker seemed to be a really good 1-2 punch early in the year.
Right. So Clary was playing at a high level, playing his best football, was playing, in my opinion, at a potentially all-conference level before the injury. And, man, he's worked extremely hard. He took full advantage of the year off last year with the ankle, used it the right way to have himself in position to do that. So it's tough, and was leading, still is leading, but it's a little bit more challenging when you're not necessarily on the field. It's one thing when you can holler from the sideline and tell guys, but when you're out there in the heat of battle, man, you really can lead and elevate the play of those around you. For him, it's bittersweet because I know that in the big picture, grand scheme of things, man, this adversity is just going to continue to refine his character, because he's got so much more in store for him beyond the game of football. But it is tough to watch a competitor that is completely sold out for the team, will do anything for his teammates, and a guy that's worked extremely hard. But the positive is we know he's going to get to play football again. So it's just a minor setback, but it is tough to watch a young man, go through that adversity. But I also see the positive in what this is going to do for him, personally, short term and in the long term.
Corey Thomas has slid over and played that spot. He's getting a return to his home city this weekend. How has he improved this season since you guys got him? What have you seen from him as this year's gone along and he's made the jump from the group of 5 to the ACC?
Yeah, you know, we saw a lot of stuff in the spring that is translated. So a lot of things that you're seeing, you know, his ability to have range and the flexibility to be able to go from playing our field safety position to now being, you know, at the strong safety position. And being back on the hash just shows his versatility. And I think, you know, with each game that goes by, you'll continue to see him improve with his ability to run the alley, down footballs. Seen him improve man coverage wise, you know, since he got here. So a lot of stuff we saw in the spring is really starting to translate now, and he's taking it in stride, having to kind of, he was getting settled in at one spot, and then now he's got to go play another spot. But just proud of him and excited for him to have an opportunity to go back home. You know, homecoming for him. So I know he'll be excited and ready to play.
Pitt had difficulty protecting their quarterback last weekend as well. Did you see anything from the SMU game plan that might help you, or does that give you hopes that maybe you guys can get to him?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen progress in just the development of our guys from a pass rush move standpoint, and I'm hopeful that it's going to start, you know, paying dividends on Saturdays. You know, when you look at it, it was kind of like our game versus North Carolina. What I saw was some technical, you know, issues, some fundamental breakdowns, and the other team taking advantage of it. Structurally, didn't see, you know, any major issues other than, saw some guys lose some one-on-one battles, which does give you confidence, you know, that if you go out, if you play hard, you play with great technique, and you have good timing, then you have an opportunity to be able to get to the quarterback or affect the quarterback, you know, and that's one thing that I don't want to, you know, diminish is, man, if we can get the quarterback to move off the spot and disrupt timing, right, that to me, that's as effective as getting to the quarterback. But I would like to see, and been challenging those guys too. Spent a good amount of time these last 2 weeks with that group because I believe they're close to being able to put it all together to get some true pressure on the quarterback.
And when your team is struggling,
Mm-hmm.
how much during a bye week do you have to put on your Dr. Phil hat and try to talk to the guys and keep them encouraged and keep their minds in it?
Great question. Actually, that's every day. Every day it's Dr. Phil, and I mean, you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds, and they have their lives back. You know, that's one of the differences. When you're in fall camp, it's just football, and you're spending so much time together, and then you get into the season, and then they get their lives back, and they have so many things that are going on, both in this building, out of this building, back home, you know, relationships. So every day, you know, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's going to be the right message that'll resonate with the entire team. But also too, you know, we had to look ourselves in the mirror. Right, this past week. I mean, we had to own what we put out there, and yeah, it was a tough day at the office last time out. But that's who we are right now until we fix it. So either we can sit here and feel sorry for ourselves and hope that it's just going to change, or we can own it. Right, be honest with ourselves, be honest with each other, and then go back to work. And so last week, you know, there was a lot of transparency all the way around, from coaches to players, from players to coaches, right? To just evaluate, because we have a little bit more time. Let's evaluate where we are, and you know, we had to get back to the basics. And part of the basics is, man, we have to spend some more time together, right? We gotta simplify our lives, so to speak, so that we can have that synergy and that cohesion. Because when you see a team that's out there playing hard, right, and they're starting to find their identities because they spend a lot of time together, right, and they know what they're playing for. And so it was an opportunity for us to get back to the basics of knowing each other, and been excited about this week of practice. You know, now that we really, you know, turned the page to really game planning for Pitt, the guys have had a real sense of urgency and a good demeanor about themselves. But yeah, during that bye week, you got to look at yourself in the mirror, take ownership of the things that you did wrong, right? Also take ownership of being the solution finder, right? And it's been good to see these guys, persevere through the adversity. And I feel like they've handled it the right way. And, one of the quotes, I think it was Mark Batterson, said, the leading indicator of success is well-managed failure. Right, and the leading indicator of failure is mismanaged success, and we've had a chance to be on both sides of that. Right, you start 4-1, and then everybody's patting you on the back and telling you how great things are going, and then you don't manage the success the right way. Right, so then you start to, think more about yourself, spend more time away doing other things, kind of living in that patting on the back, and then you lose a little bit of connectivity. Right, and then that leads to adversity, right? Failure. Now the question is, is this group going to allow that to continue to take place, or are you going to say, what, we're going to take ownership of our failures and turn it into success? So I'm excited to see this group get back out on the field Saturday night.
Kind of following up on Preston's earlier question about downfield passing, when you look at that wide receiver room, how much can you see like maybe J.R. Wilson getting more of those reps and him having a potential to stretch the field when Trail Harris is out? Yeah,
and so coming out of fall camp, man, J.R. was the talk of fall camp, probably of all the returning guys, the biggest turnaround, and then bang, he hurts his knee, right? And so we're hoping that, with this extra time, he'll be a guy that can do that. And I think his size, with him and Malachi and also Dre, I think we got the size. We also got to get better at giving them a chance down the field. We got to run to win and not necessarily run just for back shoulder balls. Man, we got to be able to run past people, and the quarterback's got to put it up and out there for these guys to get it. So you're really going to lean on Malachi, JR, Dre, and then also having Chris back. Everybody knows about his speed. Can we find ways to see, can we get him open? But it's all going to start with protection, right? To get these balls down the field, we got to be able to protect a little bit better. And been proud of those guys too, right? Like nobody has a harder life than the offensive line, right? Like everybody's watching them every single play, and even when it's not their fault, it's their fault, right? They have to take some ownership of some of the things that they got to clean up, and they have, right? And so it's been good to watch that group, kind of recommit to each other and get back to the basics. And I told them, straight up, the only way we're going to get to where we want to go is on the backs of our offensive line, right? Like those guys got to lead, right? The leadership of this team really has to come from the inside out. That's the offensive line and the defensive line.
Yeah, talking to AC, I know there's a lot of guys in his ear, practices, he talks to him as soon as he comes off the sideline, you're talking to him, Coach Lane's talking to him, but we also talked about Vincent Croce, your chaplain. Just what effect does he have on the team, just also with AC specifically?
Right, and I try to minimize how much I talk to AC, especially on game day, because in my background, when I was coordinating, it was me, it was Jeff, it was Streeter, it was Coach, right? So that's four voices that could be in the quarterback's ear. And even if you're on the same page, it's still difficult for four individuals to say it exactly the right way, right? So I try not, especially on game day, to get in his ear too much. And so for me, it's more just encouraging him, letting him know the things that he has done well, even though maybe the drive wasn't as successful as he wanted. I want him to know, hey, these are the things that you're doing well, right? Maintain your body language. And then if there is something technically, I will discuss that. But, having Vince around, a former player that understands more than just the football piece. He understands the student experience, the social experience of being here at UVA, and then obviously he's an individual of faith, and then can speak to that. And it's just good for young people to have multiple positive voices in their ear. And not only is he available to the players, but he's available to the staff. And he also has Bishop Gordon that helps as well. I think it's important, not necessarily to push faith on these young men, but just to be a sounding board, because not only are they trying to figure out how to be really good football players, they're trying to figure out who they are as men, right? They're trying to figure out who they are in the academic world. They got so many social pressures. It's a time of discovery for young people during this window of their life. So it's awesome to have him around, and he's just got a calming demeanor about himself. And at the end of the day, it's probably one of the few unbiased voices that he's gonna hear, right? Like, so even if Coach Elliott's coming, he knows Coach Elliott more than likely in the game is gonna be talking about football, right? If he sees Shep coming from the academic side, it's about academics. Coach Lamb is probably football and social life. It's just an unbiased voice for him to be able to, because again, like he's starting quarterback. Right, it's different when you're starting quarterback, man. There's a lot of pressure, right? He can't go anywhere where he's not recognized, and then he gets a lot of credit when things are going well, but he also gets a lot of undue blame when things are not going as maybe he wants, or the team wants, or other people want. So it is good to have that unbiased voice just to help him stay calm, because his job, man, he's such a fiery guy, right? And I love that about him, right? And I want that, right? But also at his position, man, he has to stay kind of even keel most of the time to be able to execute with all the stuff that's going on around him. Good question.
Pitt's been pretty stingy against the run, but SMU had some success on the ground this past Saturday.
Yeah.
What did you see that they did well to run the ball with Brashard Smith against Pitt?
Yeah, I think, not to take anything away from SMU, I thought they had a good game plan, did a good job. But I think kind of what happened to us at North Carolina, just some missed tackles, right? It was some missed tackles, and then I thought that number one from SMU, he ran with some passion and some toughness, right? And he refused to go down on first contact, and but to me it was schematically there were a couple things, but it was more, just some missed tackles, and they weren't quite, tackling the way that I've seen, them tackle in the past in that particular game. Mm-hmm.
Questions for Coach? Do you guys want to get Xavier Brown involved?
Yeah, I mean, it's you look at X, and X is very dynamic, still growing, from a protection standpoint. But definitely want to try and get more touches in his hands, and and I got a little empathy for Dez and even Rudd. Both of them, man. When you're in games like that, and especially on the offensive side, and your base concepts just we're struggling to execute, and wasn't a ton of missed assignments or mental errors. It was more just technical breakdowns, right? Guys playing with high pad leverage, not striking the way they're supposed to strike. That led to the sacks, and then now you're trying to be perfect in every play call. I think when we can get in rhythm, I think you have a chance to really take advantage of what X brings. But then when you're sitting there and trying to figure out from a passing game standpoint, what can I call, and protection is a premium, right? That's an area where I think he's getting better. And as he evolves there, then I think that makes him an every down back that can be in there in all those situations. But right now, it's kind of been by role. Depending upon what the game dictates, different guys have different roles throughout the course of the game.